So you have a buyer and a seller binding on the Georgia Association of REALTORS contract. The home is located in a community that does have a homeowners association. You did not include the Georgia Association of REALTORS Community Association Disclosure Exhibit. Is the seller responsible for paying the HOA closing letter? Hi everybody, Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors and the director of the Real Estate Academy of America. Here today to answer that quick question. Thank you so much to Amy Davis, closing attorney and named partner of Davis & Associates, for covering this issue in depth with us at our sales meeting at the West Metro branch of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors. But just wanted today to cover that issue briefly in this video. So, as you know, in the Georgia Association of REALTORS contracts, in the Community Association Disclosure Exhibit, it does go on to state that in essence, it outlines all the fees. It is a place for the seller to outline all the fees associated with the home being in a neighborhood where there is an HOA. Part of that is all the fees the seller discloses, and then throughout that exhibit, it does go on to state that any fees the seller fails to disclose or under discloses the amount, puts the amount as less as what they actually are, at closing, the seller is responsible for paying those fees. Why is that in that exhibit? Well, the exhibit continues that it is not meant to be a penalty to the seller, but a lot of HOAs and management companies will only disclose those fees to the seller on title. And as much as a buyer tries to fulfill their due diligence in finding that information out, they simply can't. So we do need the seller's help in disclosing these fees. So the question arises, well, what happens if that exhibit isn't included as part of the contract? Well, in the purchase and sale agreement in and of itself, in paragraph B1A, it does state that the seller warrants that they are conveying good and marketable title via limited warranty deed. Well, if the seller, part of the HOA clearance letter is what an attorney needs or what the title company needs in order for a seller to convey good and marketable title. So the seller is going to have to pay that regardless if that exhibit is part of the contract or not. Now, what happens about all those other fees, those buyer fees, initiation fee, transfer fees, so forth and so on, if that exhibit is not included as part of the contract? Well, those are buyer benefit fees, but a couple of issues you run into. Number one, there are many lenders and closing attorneys that look at the deal in entirety, and it is required for those fees to be paid. If the seller did not properly disclose those fees, again, yes, Georgia is a caveat emptor state, and the buyer is required to do their due diligence. However, if it is a situation where, with all good effort, they cannot fulfill that responsibility to find out what those fees are, then the buyer is not going to be, quote unquote, punished. What do I mean by that? I mean, I guess if a contract terminates and the buyer wants their earnest money back, that would be a consideration that the holder would make in determining if that was other lawful reason for a buyer to terminate, if a seller did not disclose those fees and it wasn't discovered until at the closing table. Point of practice to you as an agent. Help your buyers and sellers have a successful closing and help them understand all the fees responsible, especially with respect to a property being located in a neighborhood that does have a homeowners association and a management company. Please link any questions below. Contact Amy Davis for more specific information on this. And thank you guys so much for watching. Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors, satisfying your needs with service, innovation, and education. Bye. If you like that video, check out the one here. If you like the content on this entire channel, please click here to subscribe. I try to take even the most complicated of real estate situations and make them crystal clear. See what I did there? Real estate made crystal clear. Thank you guys so much for watching.